Hey Wall, Admiral here. Hi. So what I'm going to show you is how to get off the beach and back on the beach. In preparation for the Round Texel Race. So we're on NACRA 20 with flight control system. And let's just go and look for the Round Texel Race. Alright, so these are the sail events, and we just go to pick the race set up for the 1st of June. That's tomorrow. Alright, so we click route. Oh, we see the pink route appear in the map. And we zoom in on the start line, aka finish line. Yeah, it's off the beach. So you have to get really close inshore. Yeah, so at the start line it's like 2.3 meters of water at the moment. And we just teleport close. What you don't want to do is click go to the start and then be spawned at the start. Because Sailaway never imagined that boats would actually start off the beach. And we cannot really start off the beach because then the boat would be beached, as in stuck, ran aground. And okay, so then you'd have to wait for high tide to get free again. So we don't want to run aground. We want to basically float, but only with inches under the boat. So the foils on the NACRA 20, they're like 1.90 meters deep. Alright, so yeah, we got all the sails on board. They're all set up. Point the boat in the wind. Need to be anchored. Oh yeah, you need to raise the anchor before you can do it. So raise the anchor. Check that we are actually staying head to wind. So boat is not turning for any reason. Maintain heading. And then we hoist the mainsail. Yeah, so every time you move the camera, the hoisting stops. So you have to select the main halyard again and keep on hoisting until it's all the way up there. I pay attention to the tension on the forward leech. That influences the sail shape. Alright, and we'll do the same with the jib. As you can see, the wind is more or less parallel to the beach. And from the start line, the first mark is offshore a bit. So we need to be heading out to sea. That will be on a reach. Basically no need for the Janiker, which is principally very mostly useless sail on any boat that goes faster than the wind. Unless you sail really, really deep. Downwind, then maybe there's some use for a Janiker. Or any other downwind sail for that matter. Alright, so foils all the way up. Get the rudders up. I think the rudders are like 1.20 meters deep, so I want to really reduce the decimeters. 20-30 centimeters of water should be enough for us. This is at we have very light wind. It's like 5-6 true wind speed, and the wind is more or less off onshore. So the wind is coming from the land. So there's basically almost no wave build up. If the wave gets bigger, the trough of the waves get deeper too. So if there's more wind, this gets more difficult. You really need to make sure that at the trough of the wave, you're not touching the bottom, because that will make Sailaway give your boat the status ran aground, and basically all input is blocked. You cannot change anything. You need to wait for more water under the keel, and once you have more water under the keel, then you can go and start sailing again. Alright, so getting out on the trapeze and heading straight for the offshore mark now. So this is actually pretty simple. Getting the foils down, getting the rudder down, getting the boat in a sailing status, where you can extract some performance from it. Yes, need to get the boat balanced, so I'm moving weight forward and keep getting that boat balanced laterally. No, not laterally. Or is it lateral? I don't know. Yeah. So forward, backwards. Pitch. No pitching. Keep her horizontal. Okay, so now she's a foiler. And as you may know, foils in Sailaway actually don't seem to produce any lateral, well, some, but not much lateral resistance. I don't know when that's gonna get fixed, but for now, actually going upwind, unless it's really blowing, it's basically better to keep the leeward hull touching the water, as the hull creates most of the lateral resistance. Drift, right? So lateral resistance prevents drift, and you want the foils actually should create lift to windward, so there's no drift at all. And if it can lift the whole boat, obviously it can lift the boat towards the wind too. So you notice the boat, it gets very quiet. The hulls are no longer touching the waves, touching the water. We're on our foils now. AI, it's a simulator, right? So there's no floating user interface with all kinds of numbers that tell you how good you're doing. This is all feel and touch. You listen to the sounds the sails make, the boat makes through the water, and you figure out if she's going better or faster or slower. Hey, but that's just me. If you want all the ditches on your screen, go ahead. yeah, there's still this very nasty clacking sound somewhere. I don't know where that comes from. So there must be a sound loop, a wave file or something that somewhere in the middle at the end or whatever has this big knack, bang, here we go again. I don't know where that comes from. Now Richard has to, has to go look at that. Especially when the boat gets very quiet, it gets very annoying, the loud bang. Actually, maybe I should use this recording to document how far the sound is apart, so we can determine what the loop is. There we go again. Bang! Yeah, okay. So it's like... $10 minutes, 30, 40 seconds, 38 seconds. 3 minutes and something? Every 3 minutes? No, it varies. Sometimes it's sooner, sometimes it's slower. Anyway. Yeah, just trimming a bit and let's see. Right, really pushing the hull in the water now. Alright, let's stack. Alright, moving over to the other side. Going to the wind. Grab the sheet. And get out on the trapeze and hike. Alright. No, this boat is not easy. This may look easy, but it is not. And especially when the wind goes up to 10, 11, 12 knots. And even if I made the boat, designed it, or no, I didn't design it. I did it. This Nacra designed the boat, but right. So in Sailaway I made this boat, but I should know what it's doing. But these tacks, if there's like 6, 7, 8 knots more, half the time I end up upside down. So the boat turns back up again, and then you do it all over again. That's part of the fun, you know, like getting that done right. That's also where you can make the big gains when racing. So this is not about speed, but it's about can you get the maneuvers done without flipping the boat. If that's too tough for you, I strongly advise you go and try the Dart 18, which is much easier in handling. Of course, don't do the crazy shit speeds the Nacra does. Dart 18 is not foiling. Actually, it doesn't even have a keel, which obviously is much easier coming and going to the beach. So you only have the rudders that come up on the Dart 18. And maybe I'll do a video with the Dart 18 too, so you can basically see me do it, and then you can try it yourself. Now, important, this thing may be called a race Round Texel. But actually it's more like a challenge. So if you want to do this race and you come like you want to win this race, and good luck. I strongly advise you just enter the race with the sole objective to make it around without getting stuck or upside down or any of those things. So on the 7th of June, Sunday, 7th of June, race starts at midday, Central European Summer Time. That's 10 o'clock Universal Time Coordinated. And that should be at high tide. The moment is, at the time the video here was recorded, the tide is like minus 1 meter, 110, so it's actually almost low water. During the start of the race, the beaches will be much wider and you can go much closer to the beach than here. So, by the time you finish, however, depending on how fast you are, it may happen that you come to the finish line at low tide, which is basically what we've got now. So the finish line is between the committee boat and an orange race mark at the other end of the finish line. Finish line, start line are the same position, so we're about, I'd say 3/4 down from wind direction, down the beach, down the finish line. So we're pretty close to the starboard side of the finish line. So basically through the window in the mainsail, you can now then see the two marks that are at the end of the finish line. You can see them pop up. Basically now they're behind the gennaker. Now they are ahead of the gennaker. And just above the windex, you see two marks. The one for the finish and one for the start line, but it's the same position. But there's still two marks. So, and we need to finish without running aground. So we're gonna get the foils up all the way, the rudders up, except for the leeward rudder. We have maybe like 20 centimeters of rudder left. So the rudder is very sluggish. The boat handles very badly now. No, we don't want to flip the boat. We'll just keep it nice and upright as we approach the beach. Alright, so easing the main sheet, easing the gennaker sheet, and then dousing the gennaker, and then dousing the jib, and then basically turn the boat head to wind without running into the beach. Oh. And about now we're crossing the finish line. And then we put it head to wind. And get the mainsail down. There we go. Alright, and then drop the anchor. So we stay where we are. And as you can see, you actually can see the sand under the boat. Alright, this works at this distance because there's very little wind now. And there hasn't been much wind in the last days, so no ocean swell. If by any chance next weekend we have a lot more wind, we could get into trouble this close. We'll have to see. Alright, that's it. See you next time.